Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about scenario planning and how you can simplify the whole process. So I learned this concept from a friend of mine a few years back, and I thought it's very useful to sort of simplify the whole process of scenario planning. And he told me that in terms of financial planning, you can break it down into three simple scenarios. Scenario 1 is you live, that means you live until a ripe old age. Scenario 2 is if you die, that means if you pass on tomorrow. And scenario 3 is that if you are sick or if you are disabled. And I'm going to go through with you each of those scenarios, what to look out for and how you can plan for it. Alright, the first scenario is that if you live until a ripe old age of let's say 80 or 90 years old. And you might be thinking, what's wrong with living till you're old and what is there to plan? My answer to that is there's absolutely nothing wrong with living till you're old, but there is a lot to plan for it. While you're alive, you might have some financial goals that you want to achieve. Like for example, you might want to buy a house, buy a car, have children, go on holidays, or even live the lifestyle that you want to live. So this is where you can use financial planning to take a step back and consider if those goals are feasible. The second thing to consider is that when you're old, will you have enough money to spend after you retire? I mean, most of us are working because we want to earn a living to finance our expenses, but after you retire, you might not be working as much as you are now. So I'm guessing that there's a high chance that your income would drop, but you still have to pay for your personal finances even though you're not earning any money. And thirdly, when you become older, are you still healthy enough to take care of yourself? This is another consideration because if you're not healthy enough, then you might have to hire a helper or go to a nursing home. So the three considerations that I've mentioned just now all revolves around money and whether or not you have enough to spend. So how do you plan for it? One way to do it is to start early and learn how to invest. And depending on your risk tolerance, your objective and your time horizon, and also your personality, there are a few financial instruments that you can choose to help you grow your money. Like for example, investing in stocks and shares, into bonds, putting money in your CPF, or buying an endowment plan. All these are just a few financial instruments that you can consider to help you grow your money. The next scenario is if you die. Like for example, a premature death. We might not know when we are going to die, but what we can do is to plan for the unexpected. And in the case of an untimely death, some of the considerations are: do you have enough to leave for your dependents? Do you have enough coverage to settle your liabilities? Will your family's standard of living be affected? And lastly, will your assets be distributed the way that you want it to be distributed? And how you can plan for this is firstly to calculate the amount of coverage that you need. There are a few methods of calculating which I've done in a separate video. You can check it out over here. And after you have calculated your coverage needs, the next thing to do is to plan how you're going to distribute your assets. And this can be done by a will or a nomination for your insurance policy. Next is the third scenario, which is if you are sick or disabled. This scenario could mean that if you are hospitalized, or if you are critically ill, or if you are permanently disabled. Some of the considerations for this scenario could be: if you're hospitalized, how are you going to pay for your medical bill? Or if you are critically ill or disabled, will you be able to work and earn a living? How long will you take to recover? And during this recovery period, do you have enough money to pay for your living expenses? And one of the ways to plan for this is to have sufficient coverage for yourself. Like for example, it's very important to have your hospitalization plan and also some critical illness and total permanent disability coverage. And you can calculate this the same way that you calculate your death coverage, but you might want to make some adjustments. Do note that the coverage amount needed is very dependent on your own lifestyle and your liabilities. So there is no one size fits all, but a prudent amount should be one that can at least settle your liabilities and also pay for your living expenses. Alright, we have come to the end of our video. I hope you have learned something new today about scenario planning. Do give me a thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe if you like the content. And if you have any questions, do leave them in the comment section below for me to answer. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.